Hello, I'm Camille, and I wanted to give you a tour of the mill grounds because they are so huge and we have a lot of projects. Some have already started and other will be for the future. Yeah, let's go! So basically what you have here is a pond that is so full of sand and earth that accumulated over the years that it's just a river now. And we want to turn it back into a pond, and it will allow us to do hydroelectricity and have a pond, basically, like to swim in and maybe put some fish in it. And to do that, we need to comply to the administration requirements, because basically your pond will fill a little bit every day with sand and leaves. And most important is that if you have any pollution, it will accumulate. And the level of pollution, even if it's super low in the rest of the land, it can go higher into the pond. Here we are in a forest that is not cultivated. It's only wild forest. There is no industry, no industrial activity here. A little bit of agriculture, but basically from the spring to this pond there is 2 kilometers long. So theoretically there shouldn't be any pollution, but you can also have pollution from a natural origin, like heavy metals, for instance. So all these natural sources are harmless in the nature because they are at low level. But as I said, when you have a pond, it will accumulate everything and it can become too big. So we have to make analyses to make sure that our sediments are okay, and if they are, we will be able to use it on some part of the land. So at the end of the week, I will receive a few bottles to take samples and take a little bit of each corner and a bit of the middle, ideally. And this way we will have a sample that is representative of the whole pond, and we will know. We should be okay with just cleaning the pond, and we will have three other things to do to provide. First, we need to provide what they call débit réservé, which is basically when you have very low waters. You don't want water to stop flowing over the pond. So you need to have a source of water running from the bottom of your pond, so the dam is not an obstacle. Second, we need to evacuate what we call eau fraîche, so the fresh waters, because here with the waterfall there is only the water from the surface that is flowing, and of course in summer this surface water is warmer, and we need to provide a source of fresher water, so we can use the same system as for the débit réservé, which is a point from the bottom of the pond where the water can flow. So that is to ensure that even in summer we will maintain good ecological conditions downstream, and that the dam won't act like a barrier that will only allow warm waters or no water at all. Then, to avoid this situation with a lot of sand and heavy bills to evacuate it, we need to vidanger, we need to empty the pond every 3 years. And this operation must take maximum 10 days. And you can just open everything and let go everything, obviously, because you will have mud at the bottom of your pond that will evacuate also, and that is the point. But if you do it just like that, it will pollute all the rest of the stream. So we need to use what they call a bassin de décantation, which is a pool, let's say, that we will fill with water, let it sit, so the mud is at the bottom. We can empty and keep the mud, fill it again, etc., etc. Then we remove the mud, and we do it again and again until we have emptied all the pond and removed all the mud. And for that, we will use the mill race. And if we do all that and we make sure that the sediments are okay and we remove them, we will be okay. So here is the pond from the déversoir. The water goes there. And the waterfall from above. And here's the mill race. Here you have this pipe here that is connected to une conduite, so another pipe basically that goes under the sediments through the dam, and that goes out here when you can see the yellowish mud. But right now it's not working because of the sediments all around, so when we clean the pond we need to make sure that this works, and we will be able to use it for the débit réservé and for the eau fraîche as well. So we will have always a little bit of water going through there. Our top first priority is first to save the dam and the pond, because otherwise we would be forced to destroy it and it would completely change this place. But once that's done, what we want to do is hydroelectricity. We have here a small river, so we don't have a lot of volume of water, but we have a lot of height, which compensate and could be enough to make us go off-grid and be autonomous in electricity, basically. So of course in summer it probably wouldn't be enough, but we could add some solar panels to help. So we would have a pipe that would take the water in the pond above, and it would run over the dam, or just below the surface of the dam, so don't bother us. And then it would run along the wall and go into the bat cave. Here we have the space between the dam and the mill. And just above you have the terrace. And here you have bats. That's why we call it the bat cave. So you could place all the gear for hydroelectricity here, and the water could flow then through this drain that goes directly into the mill race that is just under here. So it's quite a big space, and as you can see, the wall is quite impressive. And here, I love this detail. It's an old staircase that was used back in the time to go at the top of the dam. A bit scary. As you can see, there is some water infiltration. That's completely normal actually, because it's earth and stone dam. So it's normal that water would find a way. We just have to make sure that it doesn't get wild. We have to monitor it. And as you can see, there is all this orange stuff that is what we call swamp rust. So basically it's iron bacteria that gather the iron and make it rust. One important point to take into consideration if you want to make hydroelectricity in France is that normally you need a special authorization from the administration, and for people who just want to make hydro for themselves, it's just not possible. But we have a weird law in France that allows mills that are older than the French Revolution, so 1789. Those mills have an old feudal privilege that still exists, and that allows them to use the force of water. So with that, you can either grind grains, make oil, or make hydroelectricity, whatever. So it's our case. We have a mill that is old enough. Honestly, I don't know how old it is, but it's old enough. So once we have cleared it on the environmental side, we will be okay for hydro, and we just have to make it basically. And here, as you can see, it's the wall of the dam, and it's full of grass, of ivy, of trees even, and that's not good at all, because first the trees and the ivy can damage the dam. It's only made of stone and earth because it's centuries old, and it's not in danger right now, but we don't want to have ivy and trees damage it. So we have a good amount of work here to clean it all. Yeah, nice big job here to clean this all up. And just here you have this square piece of land surrounded by the mill race. And I would really like to make some kind of Japanese garden, you know, something very tidy. For the rest of the land, I want something quite natural and low maintenance, but this square here, I think I will have a little bit of fun. And oh my god, the wood bridge is so wasted. Look at that. We need to put a new one. Alright, so that was for the pond, the dam and the waterfall. Now we have other projects on the property, of course, because we have plenty of things. Here, as you can see, we have outbuildings, so I will give you a tour. We have three different outbuildings that are all against each other. We have the Blue River that goes just behind, and we have another outbuilding over there that we will see. Let me show you around first. So on this wall you have a big nice crack, and here the back wall with the river here. The river. Maybe you would like and here, if we could make some kind of opening, then we could have a very, very nice riverside terrace and have a table and chairs to have apéro or breakfast. That would be really cool. And ta-da! So I'm gonna show you around. The back wall here. Well, it seemed that there was once an opening. We have a lintel here, but it's in poor condition and it's super low. A tiny window with the river. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm trying not to move too fast. So a lot of items stored here. They are all from previous owners. And the roof, it's not in great condition. It needs to be reinforced. You can see here the poles. And maybe a leak here. We have also here a very small window to the outside. Here they filled up the crack. I don't know if it's enough or not. And sometimes there are bats here, but not all the time. Here I really don't know what happened. If it was some kind of werewolf, like locked down here. But there are a lot of scratches on the wall. It's a bit scary. And we have windows that are supposed to get here and here. We have these kinds of railings in the ground. I don't know what they were for. Maybe dragging some stuff to the river, actually, because it goes right up to the wall and where the opening used to be. But yeah, that's a mystery for me. So, heading out. All right, just next to this building, we have a nice big barn here. I think on the ground it's like 70 meters square, and we have enough height for 2 levels, so we can make a really nice building. I don't know what yet. And if I come in, you will see it's almost bare. The roof is in good condition. It's a slated roof. The walls are stones, and we have a concrete floor, and that's all. Almost no windows. We have stored a car here. Kind of weird, very low window over there. A stone going out from the wall, I don't know why. And another window. Nearly down to the floor. And as you can see, it's very, very high. I will check the height later. And the previous owners started to make an upper floor. They didn't finish, but definitely is high enough. Honestly, if we renovate it, I will consider making the floor a bit lower because we have enough height. And this way we would have a bit more space above, because all this under roof space that is too low is lost. You can make a bit of storage, but that's all. And we would make some dormers windows. Could be pretty nice. But well, that's some budget. So maybe one day, in 20 years. And right next to this big barn, we have a third old building. I think it's the more recent of the three. On this side it's stonework and a bit of brickwork. We have one of the old stone wheels. Okay, so you can see that the roof was a later addition, and honestly I find it quite ugly, and that's one of the first things you see when you enter the property, so I would like to make it a bit prettier. And here you have the river. And you can see that there was some damage here during the flood. A lot of stones were taken, and we need to repair this. So it's below the floor, but we can't leave it like that. So as you can see, it's top security here. A very modern locking system. And here we are. So we've stored a few bits and bobs. And the roof is in good condition. It's supported by steel, so it's very strong. No problem on that side. And the windows, well, they're pretty low actually. The top of the window, it must be like 1.70 m, something like that. But you have a view on the river here. on the waterfall on this side. And that's really, really cool. So one of the plans could be to renovate it and make a vacation rental. That would be really cool. I think people would like it. I would, I know. Would you? Here we have a window. A very high window actually, because this must be like 1.40 m, something like that. I need to climb a bit to show you the view on the river. And a tree growing right in the middle. Don't know what we're gonna do about that. We sure need to do something about the bramble though. Alright. Well, the lintel is good. We can always make it lower. A bit of work, but it's feasible. I don't know if it's high enough for a second floor. And from this building, you can see the number 4 here, that we will see in a minute. The waterfall, of course. And here it would be really, really nice to place probably a bench and maybe some kind of picnic table, like a stone one or something nice. Right now the waterfall is a bit strong, so it's noisy, but honestly in summer it's a lot lower. And here we have another wheel. And here is some gear from the mill when it's used to be a mill. I don't know what it's for, honestly. So let's see building number 4. Alright, here we are. When we first visited here, it was all covered in brambles and we couldn't even see the door. So we bought the place without having seen inside of this building, nor inside of the orchard actually. The orchard is right over there. And we have a huge bramble problem. So this door is completely closed anyway. There is no handle, no lock, it's sealed. But thankfully we have another door on the other side. And as you can see, it's made of this beautiful pinkish stone. Actually there's a nearby village that is all made of this stone and it's really nice. Really, really nice. So, let me give you a tour. It's a very bare building too. Trying not to move too fast. As you can see, there are a lot of humidity and with the sunlight it's making, I don't know if it's algae or moss, but probably algae. And you can see here a limitation. That's because behind you have earth up to this point, something like that. And you can see there are 2 rooms with a door here, and the windows are here. With a really, really nice view on the river and the willows. Now we have a second room with windows too, they're just blocked. The door that is sealed. And here we have some kind of pool. I never did up to the bottom, I must admit. But on the other side of the wall, it's, well, let me show you. On the other side of the wall, you have this thing. Hello? Oh, too bad. You have this thing here with a kind of underground tank. So my guess is that it was used to store water. And we have these pipes all over the place, so that's pretty sure that's a water thing. And here on the side, you can see here the wall to the orchard. And I don't have space enough to show you. Here's the wall of the building with, at this level, the house that is going against the wall, which is why we have this water infiltration inside. For this building, we have several options. The first one that most people told us was, why don't you turn it into a rental, because it's a very cute building and it has a nice view on the river. It's further from the house, so it gives us more privacy and more privacy for our hosts, of course. That's a good idea, but there is no electricity, no water, no septic tank, and it's far from all of those things. So it would be a lot of work actually to make it rentable. Unless we make it more like dry toilet and stuff like that, but I'm not very fond of the plan. Another plan that we have, and that would be quicker to make, would be to turn it into a chicken house. It was actually used like that, and there was sheep or goats, I think, before. Yeah, it would be really nice to use it like that. Actually, you have the orchard just above, and I don't know if you remember, but there is earth going up to this level. So it would be really nice to have like a small door for the chicken to be able to go directly into the orchard, because it's more or less all fenced all around. It needs some repairs, but yeah. Once we remove all the brambles, having chicken in an orchard is really nice, because they are fertilizing the ground and they are keeping the grass low. So it's a nice combo. So now let me show you the orchard. I'm sorry, it will move a little bit, because the ground is really not very practical. And as you can see, you really don't want to fall here, because it's like a thick layer of dead brambles. I don't know how many years it was not maintained, but well, here we are. See that? This one is 2 meters high. So a few weeks ago, my father came and digged a maze. I don't have a better word. He cut a path inside the orchard, and we can kind of access every tree. Not all of them, but almost. Did I say I hate brambles? Well, I hate brambles. Here we have a spot that is clear of them at last, and all the trees. You can see animal path here. They do have their habits. You can see here and here. It's like a tunnel. Well, it shows us the holes in the fence. But yeah, definitely a path. And here we still have apples from last season. For now we've seen mostly apple trees. I think there is a few peach trees, but I'm not sure. And you can see the pipe goes all around, so it definitely was a watering system. This one is pretty big. Hi. I hate brambles. Oh, look, the waterfall here. Oh, wrong path. This is a dead end. And you can see here a fence pole and the grid. Let's turn back. Are there strawberries? Wow. Cool. They're all over the place here. How cute. Awesome. So we have a lot of space between the trees, and this hill is facing south, so it would be a perfect place to make a vegetable patch, and that's what I intend to do one day after dealing with the brambles. Okay, this must be the right path. When I was telling you it was a maze, oh, they were there, right under the brambles. Maybe we will have some that spruce everywhere. That would be so cool. Look at that. No, this is not. Is it? Not sure. No, this is not. But this is strawberries, probably wild ones. Ooh, don't fall. Right, back there. So here you have the chicken home, and here you have a wall, a stone wall. So as you can see, it's kind of slopey, but yes. Here I would like to remove all this grass and make a vegetable patch in a long line like that, because there is a lot of sand. It would be easy to access because it's like at elbow height, so it would be nice to work on that, and it would take full sunlight. It would have humidity from the river. It would be really nice. So that gives you an idea of what will come in the future. But of course we have tons of little projects here and there that we will do also, and just maintaining the land is already a project in itself. So I hope you will stick around, and see you next time.